Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin. Today I'm going to be discussing finasteride and testosterone, your whole, transitionary journey. Is that even a word to say? I think it is. But before I get into that, make sure if you're new here, new and not subscribed, go ahead and press that subscribe button down below to support me and help my channel grow and just be like an awesome person, right? If you are interested in coaching, a meal plan, or a training plan, go ahead and email me, devindiscoaching@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram. 12K, I'm coming for you, okay? I cut my beard. It was on accident, but if you fuck with it, you think I look a little bit retro, go ahead and leave a comment. Let's get into finasteride and testosterone and how it affects us as trans men. All right, guys, so before I dive deep into this whole subject, I want y'all to understand that I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I'm literally just a trans guy who's been suffering with like male pattern baldness, and I tried to learn as much as possible and apply it to trans guys. I've spoken to hella trans guys on my Instagram about this, so I'm just trying to compile all the information that I've essentially learned and give it to you guys in a more digestible form, if that makes sense. If you know anything that I don't know, please drop that in the comment. It's all about community and learning from one another. So what is finasteride? Finasteride is a 5-alpha reductase, which essentially means that it suppresses DHT. What is DHT? DHT is a metabolite of testosterone, which means that testosterone converts to DHT within your system, okay? DHT is responsible for all of those essentially masculinizing effects, okay? And this is where people say, like, how do you know as a trans guy how DHT and finasteride affects you? There's no studies that I found that is done on trans guys and finasteride. So what I've done is I've essentially drawn a parallel from cis guys and puberty. I live right by a pool, so if you guys hear children screaming, I promise they're okay. They're literally just being badass little kids, so excuse them. I'm sorry, you guys. And the studies on essentially finasteride and cis guys and puberty, and I've drawn that parallel to trans guys and their hormone therapy, okay? So that's the comparison that we're making here. DHT is responsible for a lot of those masculinizing effects that we're going for when we start to take testosterone. Facial hair, what little baby facial hair I have. Your voice dropping, your pee stopping, if you know what I'm saying, your cycle stopping. Masculinization of the face, all those things that we're looking for when we start testosterone. If you were to take finasteride and crush your DHT, what you would essentially be doing is lowering the effects of those masculinizing changes that we want to see with that androgen that is DHT. That being said, I had a client, he just came to me and he's about, I believe, 10 months on T, and he's like, I'm not seeing the changes I want to see. I don't feel like my voice is dropping. I started spotting. I essentially feel like nothing is fucking happening to me. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I've been taking finasteride and I think that could be the issue. Why did your doctor write you a script for finasteride knowing that you want to transition and you're taking testosterone? That makes no sense to me. Of course, it's important to trust your doc, but also we have to do a little bit of research on our own. If you're pre-T, if you're a few months in and you haven't seen all the changes you want to see yet, hold off on finasteride entirely, because you could end up really stifling your transition and end up being sort of in no man's land. What can you do if you do suffer from male pattern baldness? I know my genetics. I know I'm fucked. I don't want to wait for testosterone to fucking destroy my scalp. What can I do? I don't want to just go bald. The number one thing is going to be minoxidil. So I put my minoxidil in this little spray bottle here because I hate the dropper. It just runs all over my face. Once in the morning and once at night, I use this microderma roller blade shit, which needs to be sterile because you're literally going to be puncturing your head. Keep it clean so you're not infecting your scalp like an idiot, okay? So you're going to derma roll your scalp, apply minoxidil once in the morning and once at night, okay? On top of that, what I've been doing is also applying Jamaican black castor oil. There you go. Jamaican black castor oil to my scalp after that minoxidil to really make sure that the hair grows back thick and luscious and full, because minoxidil can leave your scalp sort of dried out. So you want to have that oil to sort of combat that dry scalpness that could happen. On top of that, I've been told by some guys as well that rosemary oil can be really helpful in hair regrowth. So go ahead and go for that as well. If you're someone who's like me and you really want to be pretty, which has no gender, being pretty has no gender, you're just simply pretty. Not to say that, oh, if you don't have hair, you're not attractive, like The Rock. I'm sure many people would like to smash him, okay? I really value my hair. I think it adds a lot to my aesthetic. So having these things really comes in handy for me. I have been told by a few people, as well as I've heard like celebrities do this, finasteride can be pretty taxing on your mental health depending on if your genetics are predisposed for that, right? So I had one guy specifically tell me that he was having suicidal thoughts on finasteride. His hormones were sort of like very strange on finasteride and he simply couldn't do it. So he looked into alternatives and he found dutasteride. So I looked into it myself, and apparently dutasteride is way more efficacious in like preventing hair loss, and it also does not have those extreme effects of mental health that some guys experience. Now I myself, I've only been on finasteride for about 4 weeks now. That's not enough time for it to build up concentration in your system and leave you essentially fucked up mentally. If if I do get that far, then I probably will switch over to Finasteride. I've only been on this hair journey essentially for like about a month, so I'm still new to everything and I'm always trying to learn more information so I can relate it to you guys as well. I have been going hard in the paint with my hair regrowth because I'm trying to look pretty. I'm not trying to have bald spots. I'm not trying to walk around feeling like an old man. I want to feel sexy. I want to look awesome. And you know what? This is what it takes to do that. We have Finasteride only if you're very well into your transition and you're happy with how things are. Look into Finasteride if you think that you might be predisposed for that whole mental health shitter sort of thing. If you are not well within your transition as far as the medicine, as far as testosterone goes, please go ahead and make minoxidil, microneedling, and castor oil or rosemary oil your best friend so that you can keep the hair you have on your head without affecting your transition. I have a lot of my clients telling me, well, I've been on testosterone for 6 months, a year, and I don't feel like shit has happened. It's very important for us to take charge when it comes to our medical care, okay? Some doctors know that we don't know shit about shit, so they just kind of like, oh, this is how it's supposed to happen. Oh, literally going to the doctor, you're literally paying them money. They're literally there to serve you, essentially. Coming from someone who was a clinical medical assistant, okay? I was there to serve the patient. If you feel like your needs are not being met, you have to speak up. We simply can't just be out here taking the bare minimum and thinking, okay, this is what it's like. Like, fuck it, that's not what it's like. That was my little rant. If you do have any information to add that I did not cover, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Like I said, we are a community here. I'm never coming at you guys like, I'm big dog, you little dog. You feel me? Like, we're all in this together. That is the video, y'all. Like I did say, if you're interested in coaching, a meal plan or a training plan, email me, devin.coaching@gmail.com. Like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's the Don, and Devin is out of here, boy.